Welcome back to the Spruce Topper YouTube channel. Today I thought we would build a logging truck. You like my new banner? Oh, and look at that, our potential logging truck donor. You might remember her as the firewood truck, been in a couple videos. So we don't have to make 400 trips back and forth, man. We can do our engineering right here. Uh-oh. Oh no, the block heater's trying to get away. Man, you wouldn't want that to malfunction. And pinch the block heater cord off. I mean, the real story here is not the condition of the bodywork. The fact that all four tires have held their appetite. Full of wind still. So how the heck are we gonna turn the firewood truck that has no deck into a log hauling machine? Well, I'm gonna get to that. Very close to here is an opportunity for us to participate in a fun adventure, but it involves a couple of trees being cut. So I thought, well, the best way to get these would not be with the equipment I already own. It would be through some means of elaborate project, and I'm certain that we could get a pretty good jag of wood on there. It slips out of gear in the worst way, and then the transmission slams back into drive with no notice. We're just gonna forget about that. I'm gonna put log bunk on it instead. So the most important phase of any project is the preparation, you know? We got a spare tire here. Oh, did it hold there? Well, no, but I'll tell you what, these big old heavy tires, even without air in them, you could use them as a spare, so no worries there. Maybe tap a couple of the sharp edges down. We don't have to make it child-proof, but I also don't want my fingers cut off. Oh yeah, it stinks. I need a punch. It should be pretty flat-ish. You know, because you don't, I mean, the real concern is it throws off the aerodynamics of the hauling rig, and fuel mileage goes downhill, and then the distribution on the shock absorbers here be kittywampus, and I'd never pass your pre-trip is what I'm saying. So how to mill these. I'm gonna mill these the same way I mill all other beams. I'm gonna figure out a size, and then I'm probably gonna make it 1.5 inches or 2 inches bigger than that. I'll go, that looks good. But look at one of these things. Don't look like the other. That's an 8x6. Yeah, let's pull this out. I'm going with it. I just like the way it's coming together. We're gonna have to run the mill for the uprights though, and the other components required. What other components are required? Uprights. The whole thing would be referenced as a bunk, correct? Top and bottom. There must be a name for the upright piece, but how big are we gonna make those? I don't know yet. I would suggest they have to be fairly skookum. That should get us in the neighborhood. Cut half off. Oh, let's soup mix it off of there. 6'3½", 75.5. If you're gonna run the soup mix on the edge of destruction, you know, the little screws that you turn until she's just singing, but right on the edge of explosion, don't be shy, feed her a little extra oil. Uh-oh. There's a brake line in the way here. And they do work, so we can't just get rid of it. We can slowly modify it a bit. Just give her the old push. Gentle. Gentle. There. See? There, out of harm's way. I was actually pondering doing them on the flat. Would you do it on the flat? Maybe you do them on the flat. Right, what's holding up the works over here? I think we're gonna be needing that anymore. How good is that on there? That is the only time during this video that you're gonna catch me pulling on my hose, all right? All right, that looks pretty good. We're out over the tire, which is good. Somehow it looks sassy because it lines up the edge of the cab like it was meant to be. I think what I'm gonna do is cut mortise do a mortise and tenon joint, which is a strong carpentry joint. I don't know if it's a strong logging truck joint, but it probably is fine. What's the worst that happens? A wooden avalanche somewhere on the journey. I marked this out. I think what stands to reason is I'm just gonna notch these a hair, like a whisker, 3/4 of an inch on the back, maybe just like 3/4 of an inch or so. So it sits down on the frame rail so that when I push on the bunk, that way it cannot slide side to side. The straight edge is code for stick, and it's good because this stick is an inch thick, so we'll use it as a depth gauge. We'll just go a little bit shy of the stick. That'll be close enough. You know, there's a real challenge in stopping filming one day and starting filming on another day. I asked my production crew here, and not a single member of the team could remember where I left off. I'm second guessing the notch and looking. I even went and got a tape measure, and it just turned out to be a simple malfunction of the truck. We dropped her down too far, and now this is in the way. No matter how much wood you have, I'm hesitant to cut it up for some reason. I like having logs, but this is a firewood log that snuck in. This was all donated from a friend of ours. I think we'll use that. I don't mean I'm hesitant to cut it up. Like, obviously gonna be milled into lumber, but this is gonna sound weird. Whenever I get a hold of logs or raw material, it has a sense of wonder to it. Like it has all its potential. It could be anything. And then once you start into milling that material, that's what it's gonna be. Once you cut it, it's cut, and that's what it's gonna be. I like the romance, the lead up. And now for the milling portion of our show, we're gonna stick with oddball. We had 8x6s, why not make 4x6s for the uprights? Keep it weird. Now that's a tight fit. You know, the original intention of the trailer was road legal because it is insurable. That marker light, it could not be in a worse spot. Oh, and the wiring doesn't work anymore. Somebody ripped it off. Man, I'll tell you, this little Kohler never disappoints, runs good. By 6, that seems pretty robust. You know what gives you the fizz? Ugh. When you roll that 16-foot timber and it sits flat on every log bunk, you must be doing something right. Ugh. Lightweight, lightweight. Who's gonna lift these weights? Oh man, if you don't know that reference, you should look it up on YouTube. Lightweight. So what do we got here? Just a hair over 16 feet. If my grade school math serves me correct, 16 divided by 4 is 4 foot. We'll go right to the bottom. We're gonna want full purchase for the joinery. There's 4 feet. Cab height. Got audio now. So I don't know where we left off. Pretty sure I'm wearing the same color shirt though. That's production value. That dog loved that swamp water. He loves it. Everyone gets so angry that I let him drink it, and I don't know. There's fresh water in the shop. He walks right by it, sniffs it, and he comes out and gets this Vitamix here. Doesn't seem to upset his tummy. The shits, no, nothing. Doesn't upset him in the least bit. Hey, old dog. You done? Should I carry you back? Yeah. He knows where the water's at, but outside of that, the world's a mystery, isn't it, buddy? Before we get back to the joinery on the old wooden logging truck here, the transmission slippage in the firewood truck, I thought it would self-heal. I parked it over there in the healing weeds, and to no avail. It is actually worse. So I got her up to temp, nice and hot. It appears that it might be a little low on the fluids, and well, I've seen this in videos. I think if you just say Lucas enough times, it fixes things. So that has to fix it, because that is the extent of the Spruce Stomper channel's automatic transmission knowledge. And without spilling it everywhere. You did read the bottle, and it had a recommended dose, but I paid for the whole bottle, so I think we're gonna use the entire bottle. It works a lot better if you cut a vent hole in the back there. That's how you know you're committed to using the whole bottle. You poke a hole in the bottom of it. Another 24 bucks into the old rig, becoming a high budget operation. All right, well, it says that it should work now. So, drive. That's a pretty good start. Mind you, it did that before. It would go in, it's the staying in that's the problem. We're gonna make it all the way to the back of the wood pile in gear? All right, let's try reverse. Oh, it immediately goes in. Forwards. Backwards. Let's just say it's fixed. I'm gonna add transmission mechanic to the resume. So we're gonna start by cutting the tenons on the bunk like that. I went with 4x3 just because it just, I don't know, make believe. I got the depth stop set on the saw. If you're not familiar with this feature on your saw, very handy for repeatable cuts. On this DeWalt, it's just a lever that flips down and then an adjustable screw, and it allows you to hit that same depth every time. So I'm gonna lay out just one of these bunks, and then the other three, all the rest of the cuts, just done deal. Marked and cut, and it'll do something, and then we'll cut the holes. Mortise, that would be the appropriate term. Thus ends the plan so far. Now, roughed out on the saw. I thought before we get too deep that a guy make sure he's happy with the first one, so we don't create firewood out of all four. 2 3/8 timber slick. These don't have to be real sexy. I say that because they're not gonna be. It's an art, I'll tell you that. All this stuff is trickier than it looks. I really wanted to try this out. Let's try it. Well, I'd say it's about dull enough to ride to town on. All right, well, curiosity cured. Sharpening would, I think we're gonna hop back to power tools for now. Well, probably equally as dull, the Mastercraft Fastener bit, but we can apply brute force. Well, that could possibly take the rest of our lives. We're a little more interested in driving the rig than doing the joinery today. Let me introduce you to the poor man's chain mortiser. When the chain is so dull that smoke is coming off, that's probably a sign. We're spoiled here on the Spruce Stomper YouTube channel. For most folks, that would involve a run to town, but we're fortunate enough we can just make our own chain. 325 50 gauge 66 drive links. Well, logbuildingtools.ca. We have a whole chain section. Custom made loops of virtually every pitch and gauge and style that you can think of, including rip chain. So I'm spoiled. Alright, if I had to guess, probably on the snug side of things. I'm also remembering why that little Husqvarna wasn't down in the shop with the rest of the saws. It's lived an abusive life. We don't talk about it. Is that in the force in it range? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you cut a mortise with a chainsaw on the first try. Well, certainly not the prettiest way to get to a tenon, but it's pretty swift. Little axe kickstand holding us some version of level. Hold on to your hats, it's about to get precise again. Almost better than the first one. Chainsaw carpentry. Look at it. Look how tight that is. Maybe just a couple sideboards to tie it together. The only reason for that is I think that this will do the flippy flop when we're ripping down the road. If they're tied together, it won't flip flop, because you'd hate to have to walk back to pick that up on the empty trip in. I love the way that I save and keep. Oh, walked under a ladder. Look it. Ta-da! These are picket rails from a baby crib that I was tasked with taking to the dump. So instead of taking it to the dump, I cut it all up and saved all the wood pieces. Voila! 3/4 inch heavy enough? Let's face it, a 6-inch tenon, if that breaks off and falls out, it's not because we used the wrong size of dowel item. But we're not going down the path of these again. I'm gonna drill them a 1/16 of an inch Unger size. And typically in a timber frame, what they would do is in the joint, they drill the hole in the tenon and the drill through the timber, the hole through the timber, they'd be offset from each other a bit. I don't know how much, to be honest. 1/16, maybe 1/8 of an inch. I'm sure it depends on the size of the timbers you're supposed to pull together. The reason for that is if you have one hole like this, and then the other hole, I'm gonna exaggerate this, but you'll get the idea. The other hole is offset from it like this. When you drive the peg through the center, it sucks these into the same plane. Like that. Draw bore. Anyways, the holes are offset, so when you pound the peg together, it sucks the timbers together. And when they shrink and do their thing, whatever, you get that tight grip. But being that I beat those together with a 10-pound sledgehammer, we're heartily committed. Definitely snug as a bug in a rug. How do you taper it? He's a rocket man. With safety in mind, we will taper the dowel. You wouldn't want that to grab that, but it didn't, so it's fine. I just got this, and I'm already using it. Isn't that decrepit? My wife bought it at a garage sale for me for $2. 2 of them. Yeah, why not? Throw them in the pile. I think we're gonna have to cut it off. How far is it in there? Nobody knows. Behold, a little engineering on the fly here. Solved, I think, a couple problems at once. So the racking, solid now. These are tied together so they can't bounce off. I got a sideboard now. So if we wanted to put planks in the center at some point to haul loose firewood, we could do that. I got a nice spot here to put a cap, to make a fender. If I keep going, we're gonna dip into flat deck territory. I'll just keep putting a mud flap. Would be a good idea. We'll have to look into that. It's a bit of a jaunt to where the wood is, and I need to load myself, so I gotta take the tractor. I'm not in the mood for walking because it's 30 degrees out, but I think I have a solution. Back when trucks actually had spots on them that were meant for towing, eh? Would probably help the situation on the truck side. I don't think the tractor cares, but the truck might appreciate it. Oh yeah, sweet relief, she says. There, neutral. Poor old drive shaft. Oh man, I'll scratch the bumper, I guess. And pinch the block heater cord off. Casualty. Well, we gotta unhook it because you can't turn with the 3-point hitch toe and apparati. Ask us how we know. There was a corner on the way here. Didn't go so hot. Had to rehook. I think we just put some logs on it and see what it does. The 16 foots might be a bit of an issue because you're gonna have more hanging out the back than we got on the front. But if we put the butt ends up at the front, maybe the weight balances it out. All right, well, that's a pile of saw logs. These are all 16 footers. Oh man, various sizes, but I mean, there's a lot. These are good logs too. More cottonwood. I've milled up a few cottonwood now from the last batch. I'm not a fan. It's gorgeous looking wood. It's just wet and heavy. And this was supposed to be a firewood pile, but all I see is lumber. So yeah, let's try that. Let's put some 16 foots on. And if they want to tip off backwards, then we can throw, we'll buck a few of them into 8-footers and then use them as a counterweight. You see the problem? Design flaw with the 16 footers. I can't set the 16 footers down on the bunks because the bunk itself is in the way. Ideally, maybe one of those bunks would have been removable. Hindsight's 20/20, they say. I've said it once and I'll say it a million times again, 16 footers kinda suck. But I want the 8x8 16s. I want at least 2 more For a project, I could maybe get away with 12s, but they are a beast to manhandle. Here's what I got to say about that. I think we're done with 16 footers. Status report. Log bunks, kind of intact. Tripod, not so bright. Damage. Sheared pin, same on that side. These held up really good. They didn't take the force though. I shoved the log into it. That'll happen. If a video just went smooth, would it even be a YouTube video? All right, take two. 8 footers, because 8 foots are manageable. I need a bunch of posts anyways, and the pile, there's 50 16 footers there, big enough for 8x8s. I did not see that design flaw. You know, what do they say? When you're just so intimate with a project, sometimes you just don't see the glaring issue. Fucking tripod falls over now. Good Lord. But the transmission, oh, I just gotta keep this tripod up. Should have just started with the 8 footers. You know, we live in a society though of instant gratification. You know, the struggle is good for you. Humbling. Oh, and the sideboard, see that? See that one broke off? Those were dumb. Why didn't you tell me those were dumb? On the flat, fine. And it would have worked to tie the bunks together, which is where they gotta go. But on the upright, they're in the way of the forks, man. That was dumb. Oh well. I see a couple good ones on the bottom, and we can run with that. Man, there's some gorgeous wood in there. I'm sticky all over from the pitch. 10s, maybe 12 foots you could sneak on there, but 16 foots, soup mix. A love-hate relationship with the soup mix. Most of the time, love. sideboards. We can clearance that though with a chainsaw. Let's get a little weight over here. Get a little weight. It doesn't look full, does it? No, those are heavy. You got to keep in mind, this is no F350 1-ton heavy hauling beast here. She's two-wheel drive. Who am I kidding? We should put some more on it. What you do to check the suspension, you just go like this. No, nothing broke off, so it's probably okay. So we're giving those Morrison tendons workout, that's for sure. Alrighty, the bumper is only got about 8 inches before it's on the ground. The springs are firmly rested against the bottom of the bunks, and well, we got about a snicker left before the bump stops are firmly seated on the axle. I think that's payload for the old girl. The tires also say they've had enough. So let's call her a wrap. The sideboards, oh my God. Might edit that part out of the video, the sideboards, good Lord. That's a pretty good jag. If I learned anything from our weighing logs video, if you haven't seen that, way back in the channel, we brought home a big load of saw logs, weighed them all up with an actual weigh scale, 443 pounds. And guess the weight. I'm gonna say these average out at about 400 pounds a piece. They're completely green. These were standing like a week ago. 2, 4, 6, 8, round down, maybe 3,000 pounds, give or take. If you disagree, comment section, boys. Let's hit the road. Do a quick pre-trip here. Yep, definitely overloaded and running rough. You're a little too close to the window for comfort. I wonder if I can move that. There, that's better. That's better. Hercules, Hercules. All right, she made her back in one piece. Didn't even blink an eye. The old girl was probably disappointed I didn't throw a couple more up on top. I said to myself, when we get up to the cab, it's probably good for the evening. Kind of fond of the old girl. Runs a little rough. Probably because I don't know how to tune the Chinese carburetor, but we'll look into that to finish it out. It's about to get real glamorous. Gotta go back for the tractor. Can't take that, obviously. Feels good where I'm at, so I don't have a ton of space. At least it's all downhill. It's funny to think this is the most dangerous piece of equipment I've operated all day. Oh, better hang on for this part. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Oh, home again, jiggity jig. There you go. The logging truck is one step up from a bicycle. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching along. That brings It brings a good feeling. A closure, some closure to the wood truck video series. We pulled her out of the weeds. We did a bit of work. We fixed a couple of things with the intention that she would haul wood once again. And success. So, if you liked the video, leave a comment. Click the subscribe, the thumbs up. Just click all the buttons. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers that you're gonna wanna show your buddies what an old 70s Ford can haul. And the professionalism in the joinery here is unmatched. Tough as nails. Anyhow, there'll be more adventures. I don't know what order they're gonna be in or which one's coming next. I just know there's gonna be one. It could very well be figuring out how to unload this bad boy. I'll catch you on the next video, and we'll try and keep them a little closer together. I got so wrapped up shooting a finale, I forgot my damn bicycle was leaned up against the truck. That turns out it's Ford Tough too. How about that? Good pair.